Let's talk about three ways a misaligned sternum can affect your horse. These are the horse can be towed in, towed out. The horse could have shoulder issues such as misalignment or even atrophy. The main goal of this video is to help people think about why something is happening rather than think a problem is always just permanent or just how it is. First, let's talk about what the sternum is. The sternum is the center bone of the horse's chest or thoracic cavity. It runs from the front center point of the chest to about a hand's width behind the elbow. We have a sternum too, but the horse's functions differently than ours. Our breastbone is attached to the body via the clavicle or the collarbone, which horses do not have. This means their barrel can swing side to side independently of any bones. So the sternum is the foundation for the thoracic cavity. That's where the lungs are. But it's like the foundation of a house. When the foundation is crooked, everything attached to it is crooked, and then the rest of the body compensates for the crookedness. Let me give you some examples. Here we have the classic toed in horse. With the toed in horse, what's happening is the entire leg is turned in a little bit. Now, why would that be? Now, it can be, not always, but it can be because the sternum has moved back. How would that happen? Well, just picture the horse got kicked in the front of the chest, or sometimes a trailer might have stopped suddenly and then the chest bar shoved the sternum back. It literally can move back. I know that sounds a bit crazy because it's a 1,000-pound animal, but because it's not attached to any bones, it can effectively be moved back. Let's look at the anatomy and think about it. Looking at the side of the horse, the point of the shoulder should line up with the front of the sternum. If the sternum then is back just a bit, now the shoulder blades are no longer lined up against the sternum. So instead, the shoulder blades fall in towards the center just a bit. Now, the humerus is the lower bone of the shoulder. When the humerus falls in, it pushes the elbow out, which turns the leg in, which turns the toes in just a bit. To help us think about how that could work out, let's talk about what if the sternum goes forward. So next we have the toed out horse. This is the opposite problem. So let's think this through. When the sternum goes forward, the point of the shoulder is pushed out. So when that humerus is pushed out, the elbow drops in. And then when the elbow goes in, the feet get turned out just a little bit. We're looking at this toed out horse here. We don't have a side view, but if you look closely, you can see the elbow area is in close to the body, which has caused the leg to rotate out, including the feet. Now, this horse, by the way, technically has a pigeon breast, where there's a more prominent sternum. Now, I'm not saying that all pigeon breast horses have a problem. There's all kind of breed variations. I am saying sometimes a pigeon breast is the sign of a sternum moving forward. Other times, a sternum can move forward just a bit and it won't look like a pigeon breast. My point is, whether it looks like it or not, the sternum can move forward and back. I would estimate about 80% of toed in or toed out horses just have sternum alignment issues. So these can be fixed. Now, I wish I could tell you there's an easy way to correct a horse's sternum. Unfortunately, I can't. I can tell you a way to check for problems, and I'll link to that video at the end. But it's always best to use TPT energy work for these cases. Why? Well, because theoretically, you could just shove the sternum back into place, and a chiropractor might do this. Sometimes this helps, and if the sternum is the primary problem, then it's certainly worth the shot. The thing is, there's a reason why the body has not self corrected the sternum. It should. The horse should be able to go out, go roll, shake all over, and the sternum just settle back down into perfect neutral alignment. If it doesn't do that, there's a reason. And that's what I call the primary problem. Now, this primary problem could be anything: muscles, tendons, veins, nerves, you name it. Anything that could be the primary cause of the sternum not fixing itself. So you want to use TBT because you can find and correct all the primary problems. Then the sternum will stay in its correct, aligned, and balanced spot. Okay, I have one more example for you. We have this horse. This horse has overly developed shoulder muscles on the left, and on the right, the muscle is atrophied. Let me show you some close ups. Here is the underdeveloped side. This is about 20% of normal scapula musculature. And then this is overdeveloped. It's about 70% extra muscling over the scapula. Now, you might see either side and think, oh my gosh, what is wrong with that shoulder? What can I do to fix the shoulder muscle? But no matter what you do, chiropractic, acupuncture, massage, anything you can do to help the shoulder, it will barely help. Why? Can you guess what's causing the shoulder muscle imbalance? Okay, if you're thinking it's got to be the sternum, you're right. But which way has the sternum moved? Feel free to pause here and think about it. Okay, here's the answer. The problem was the entire sternum was moved over to the left, and quite severely. So far over, in fact, the left shoulder muscles overdeveloped just to move the leg. It's like holding a soccer ball under your armpit and trying to move your arm forward and back. See how weird your muscles develop. Then on the right side, the shoulder was effectively falling in. So the horse used muscles under the scapula to move the leg. Those top muscles barely used, and so were underdeveloped. I hope this gives you some idea of how a misaligned sternum can affect the horse. These are just three of many, many ways because the sternum is the foundation of the entire chest cavity. Think of all that attaches to. Okay, one thing you can do is check the horse's wiggle. That's a thoracic lumbar wiggle. If the sternum's misaligned, there won't be a wiggle through the thoracic area. You can check this yourself, and I show you in this video here. Thanks for watching.